Those years in quest of honor mine. Chapter 40. They separated as soon as they made contact. For a moment, Zhongyuan couldn't think straight. He had lost his balance because of Yu Shi's tugging, so he instinctively wrapped his arms around the other's waist. Yu Shi furrowed his brows and grabbed Zhongyuan's wrists. Then, he twisted them behind Zhongyuan's back and pressed him against the desk. There was slight anger flashing in Yu Shi's eyes. He furiously said, "Close your eyes." Zhongyuan couldn't respond because of how panicked he was. He did exactly as Yu Shi said and closed his eyes. Zhongyuan anxiously thought, does Yu Shi actually know how to kiss or not? This posture and aura are more similar to that of an evil ghost trying to swallow a human, right? Zhongyuan closed his eyes and prepared himself for the fact that Yu Shi would probably bite him hard enough to bleed. However, the next moment, Zhongyuan felt Yu Shi kissed him again. Unexpectedly, Yu Shi was being extremely gentle. Yu Shi gently brushed against Zhongyuan's lips, even more gently than before. Zhongyuan relaxed. His lips unconsciously parted. Instantly, he felt Yu Shi's breathing become more rapid. With eyes still shut, Zhongyuan thought, it's over. Yu Shi was probably going to think he was being frivolous again. He was just about to press his lips together once more when suddenly, something slid in. Zhongyuan's face instantly flushed red. This person had clearly just warned him earlier, but now he was the one who was. Zhongyuan lost the ability to think. Young Prince Yu was young, but maybe because he had read all sorts of yellow books, he knew much more than Zhongyuan. Zhongyuan's knees went soft. He became lost in Yu Shi's kiss. The tip of his tongue instinctively twitched. Yu Shi furrowed his brows and pulled back. With anger in his eyes, Yu Shi glared at Zhongyuan. Zhongyuan ground his teeth together. So, Yu Shi could do whatever he wanted, but he couldn't even move in the slightest? Whose family rules were these? My family rules. Yu Shi could tell what Zhongyuan was thinking. He stared at Zhongyuan in annoyance. After slight hesitation, he repeated himself lowly, "You can't move." Zhongyuan was still a bit dazed. He reflexively nodded. Whatever. Anything this lunatic said was law. Yu Shi furrowed his brows. Without letting Zhongyuan go, he held up Zhongyuan's right wrist. "How did you actually get this?" Zhongyuan casually responded, "I accidentally scratched myself." Yu Shi completely ignored him. He simply unwound the white cloth that was wrapped around Zhongyuan's hand. Zhongyuan gasped sharply from the pain. Yu Shi's hands paused temporarily before he continued to remove the white cloth, seemingly affected. Yu Shi coldly stared at the gruesome wounds on Zhongyuan's palm and proved, accidental scratches. Zhongyuan smiled dryly. At a time like this, why are you so caught up on this matter? Yu Shi halted for a moment. His expression became a bit icier. It's fine if you don't want to tell me. Zhongyuan froze. His instinct told him that if he didn't explain things clearly, Yu Shi would probably overthink them. He quickly said, "I went to see an old acquaintance." Hearing him speak of the past events on our estate, I became briefly aggrieved. Yu Shi hadn't expected for Zhongyuan to give him an explanation. His pupils trembled. He spent some time calming down, then lowered his head and silently rewrapped Zhongyuan's wound. Old memories of times long gone and would bore one upon retelling, Zhongyuan smiled. They weren't good memories either. Don't ask about them, young Prince Yu. Yu Shi didn't respond. After bandaging Zhongyuan up, he let the other go and said, "You may leave." Zhongyuan's face was still a bit red as he reminisced about the events that had just occurred. He wanted to leave quickly, too. He turned around, but before he could depart from the shelter, he heard Yu Shi softly say, "In 5 days' time, you're still allowed to visit my estate." The corners of Zhongyuan's lips slightly quirked up. He exited the shelter. On this 35th day after third prince's passing, Zhonwan's thoughts were adrift. Only Yushi was on his mind. After completing everything with everyone else while being in a daze all the while, he finally returned to their estate. Zhonwan only wanted to go back to his room and rethink everything that had happened in the shelter again. Unexpectedly, after the horse carriage stopped and he got out, he instantly saw Lindsay. Xian Kengzin had never seen Lindsay before. Upon seeing him through the curtain, she was surprised. "Who is that?" Zhonwan's heart skipped a beat. Lindsay had always been careful in everything he did. Why would he be boldly standing here? Zhonwan told someone to help the two young masters into their courtyards, then he walked over alone. Once he was a bit closer, he noticed that Lindsay seemed strange. It appeared that he had been hit by someone, the skin by the corner of his lips was broken. Lindsay's gaze was empty. Upon seeing Zhonwan, he froze for a moment. Then, as if extremely tired, he knelt. "Let's speak inside." Zhonwan immediately helped Lindsay up. "Get up." In Zhonwan's room, Lindsay cradled the hot tea Zhonwan had handed him. He remained completely silent. What happened? Zhonwan turned his head to observe the corner of Lindsay's lips carefully. He furrowed his brows. "Who hit you?" Lindsay kept his head down. He didn't reply. Zhonwan had a headache because of how worried he was. What actually happened? If you don't want to sign, write it down. Who dared to hit you? Lindsay set the teacup down off to the side. He signed, "Fourth Prince." Zhonwan was speechless. Doesn't he trust you completely? Why did he hit you? A thought flashed through Zhonwan's mind. He anxiously exclaimed, "Does he think that you're still working for me? That you'll try to harm him?" Lindsay shook his head and let out an exhausted sigh. Zhonwan couldn't sit still because of how angry he was for Lindsay. So, what is actually the problem? For a long time, Lindsay remained quiet. Then, he stood up and knelt in front of Zhonwan. An idea struck Zhonwan. Or, have you decided to become completely loyal to Xianzheng? Actually, since their last secret conversation, Zhonwan had already started contemplating about this matter. Xianzheng and Yushi were on opposing sides. Since he had already decided to stay in the capital and help Yushi, Lindsay would be stuck between a rock and a hard place between the two of them. Zhonwan quickly said, "There have been too many things happening in these past few days. I didn't have the time to tell you, but listen to me now, Lindsay." Zhonwan half knelt and held onto Lindsay's shoulders. He smiled. "I was just about to tell you. Lindsay, you no longer need to do anything for me in the future." Lindsay instantly widened his eyes. "Hear me out first." Zhonwan pressed down on Lindsay's shoulders and started in a low voice, "Though you used to be a servant of the Zhon family, you know too that not long after you and Nanny came to our house, trouble found our estate. You and Nanny didn't manage to gain anything either. Technically speaking, it's the Zhon family who owes you." Lindsay hurriedly shook his head. He lifted his hands in an attempt to sign, but Zhonwan held them down. Zhonwan continued, "Listen to me. Both of us grew up in Prince Ning's estate. If there's kindness you must repay, that would only be the kindness from the prince for raising you. You've spent several years running about. At this time, Xian Rui and them are already safe. Thus far, you've paid back all the kindness you need to." Zhonwan stared at Lindsay. He gently said, "You don't owe me anything. I'm also not your master. I'm your diddy. In the past, I didn't have a good enough plan for you. From now on, you only need to do things for yourself." The rims of Lindsay's eyes turned red. He bent down and kowtowed facing Zhonwan. "You're a man. Don't be so wishy-washy." Zhonwan stood up. "All right, you've kowtowed already. How about this, in the future, you can visit as normal. But if you need to stop visiting to avoid Xianjing becoming suspicious, you can do that as well. Lindsay remained kneeling, shoulders gently trembling. Zhongyuan looked down at Lindsay. Memories of 20 years of mutual support flashed through his mind. He took a deep breath before displaying a reassuring smile. Are you done yet? Get up. It took Lindsay a long time to get to his feet. His eyes were red. He signed, I didn't come here because of that. Zhongyuan was surprised. What else could you be here for? Did Xianjing already misinterpret your actions? That truly is quite troublesome. Zhongyuan furrowed his brows. Could it be that they would need to put on an act? He would need to punch Lindsay a few times before letting him return, crying, to Xianjing? Or, should he have Lindsay beat himself up as a sign that he had switched sides? Lindsay gestured, Fourth Prince doesn't know about the situation between Master and I. He beat me because I did something wrong. Zhongyuan didn't understand. You are detailed and careful in your actions. What could you have done wrong? Lindsay lowered his head and hesitated before signing, Yesterday, Fourth Prince dragged me to drink with him because he was in a bad mood. Fourth Prince doesn't have a high alcohol tolerance, so he became drunk. At night, I intended to do something improper. He caught me. Zhongyuan froze in place. A long time passed before Zhongyuan carefully asked, You? What did you do to him? Lindsay's ears flushed red. He twiddled his fingers and gestured, Improper things. Zhongyuan suddenly felt like his brain had stopped working. He got out with great difficulty, Improper in what way? Lindsay shook his head. It was obvious that he didn't want to speak more on the topic. Zhongyuan was speechless. After a brief thought, he still felt angry. How improper could you have been for him to hit you? Lindsay barely managed to lift his hands and sign, he was drunk and couldn't move. I took advantage of that. I would have deserved it even if he had beaten me to death. In his heart, Zhongyuan understood that Lindsay wasn't that kind of person. He couldn't actually have done anything to Xianjing. It was reasonable that Xianjing would become angry enough to beat someone after being suddenly exploited. But Zhongyuan muttered to himself, what good feng shui does the Zhong family have for its members to all have no descendants? How come you're also? Lindsay hung his head in shame. I'm not blaming you. I don't care as long as you're happy, said Zhongyuan, struggling to comfort him. Besides, with Xianjing's temper, if he really felt nothing towards you, he probably wouldn't have left you alive and well enough to leave the estate. He would have cut you in half already. How did you get out? Lindsay lowered his gaze. He signed, Fourth Prince told me to get as far away as I possible. Zhongyuan sighed again. Just stay here for now, then. Zhongyuan's mind was a mess. Or, do you need to avoid any possible implications? Otherwise, when you want to return later on, Xianjing might worry that you're on my side. Lindsay thought for a moment. He signed, I fear I won't be able to return anymore, so I'll stay. Don't be so confident about that future, Zhongyuan said. The left wing in my courtyard is still empty. You can stay there. From today onwards, you don't need to do anything else for me. Take a few days to rest first. Lindsay nodded, got up and left. Zhongyuan sighed and started stressing out for Lindsay. Though Xianjing didn't have much of a brain, he was fine as a person. At least, he was a much better person than Xianqiang. He had saved Lindsay's life. After all these years of interaction, it was reasonable that Lindsay would feel that way about him. But if Xianjing didn't feel the same way, Lindsay would probably suffer much. What a mess. End chapter. Those Years in Quest of Honor Mine. Chapter 41. Originally, Zhongyuan wanted to take advantage of the fact that it was still early to pay Tang Ming another visit. But after Lin Si had disturbed him, it was too late to leave the city walls. He could only give up on that. As he thought of Lin Si, Zhonwan wondered if he should burn incense at the ancestral tomb of the Zhon family. And once he thought of the ancestral tomb, the possibility that Tang Ming's mother was from the Zhon family once again crossed his mind. Once his thoughts came to this point, in an instant, he became certain. Tang Ming was definitely his relative. Tang Ming had no wife or sons. He would also not leave behind any descendants. Zhonwan couldn't help but smile. Without him knowing it, his thoughts wandered to the spectacle at the morning shelter. He lightly pursed his lips. He recalled for a short while, and found it fine even if he didn't leave behind any descendants in this life. As he was caught in his reverie, Xian Kengzin entered the room. A guest had suddenly arrived at the residence. Xian Kengzin couldn't be at ease, so she came over to ask for him about it. It doesn't matter. He's a friend I met in my youth, said Zhonwan in an ambiguous manner. Back then, he had been implicated because of me and met hardship. A few days ago, he offended his master and came out to hide here. I'll let him stay here for a while. Not minding, Xian Kengzin said, all right. Then let's allow him to stay here. Oh right, someone said today that His Majesty's birthday, which is coming in a few days, won't be celebrated as grandly anymore. Everything will be simplified. After the imperial clan members enter the palace and kowtow, they can leave. There will be no banquet and we don't have to prepare any gifts. During the mourning period, things will be like this. Xian Kengzin noticed that Zhonwan seemed somewhat restless and added, what's wrong? Could it be? With his attention elsewhere, he asked, what? Xian Kengzin said in a soft voice, once the 5th 7-day set is over, we will return to Jianan. What about your Quafu? Could we still go home together with her? Zhonwan broke free from his thoughts. He lowered his head, a smile gracing his lips. After a moment of silence, he said, I'll see if my old friend can escort you back to Jianan. If it's not convenient for him, then I would. And once you've reached Jianan, I will return here. Xian Kengzin looked at Zhonwan, unwilling to be apart from him. She wanted to say something, but then hesitated. In the end, she said in a helpless manner, all right. But, we're not in a hurry. It's fine to wait until you've married young sister-in-law and return together. It won't be that quick, said Zhonwan carelessly. Anyway, right now we still have to observe filial piety during the mourning period. How could I take a concubine now? Xian Kengzin furrowed her brows. Xian, you and I are the ones who have to observe filial piety, not you. So, what are you afraid of? Additionally, she said with indifference, I don't think this capital has as many rules as Jianan. These past few days, there were people wanting to be in-laws with Royal Princess Angguo. Zhonwan felt like he was trying to climb a flight of stairs, only for his foot to slip on the first step. He fell silent for a moment as he sat down. Carelessly he asked, which family? I'm not sure. Although I recognize those people, I don't know the messy state of their in-laws. Whichever brother's daughter or sister's daughter, I can't determine who. Xian Kengzin frowned. Perhaps. Forget it. I'm not very sure of the details, but in short, they had a conversation about this. Royal Princess Angguo seemed very interested. She sighed. They actually discussed these matters during a funeral arrangement. Such good manners. Zhonwan nodded. Young Prince Yu is 23. He truly ought to settle down by now. Curious, Xian Kengzin asked, is that the young Prince Yu who came to see eldest brother at the estate before? She had yet to marry and Zhonwan had guarded her well. As such, she didn't know about the romance between Yushi and Zhonwan that had spread in the public. Ill at ease, Zhonwan grunted his acknowledgement. I've never met him. Word has it that he's the apple of Royal Princess Angguo's eye, pampered to the point of out of control, she said. Although we're not considered in the same clan, in any case he is a relative of the imperial clan. Surprisingly, they're actually discussing his marriage at this time. Out of instinct, Zhonwan stuck up for Yushi by saying, it's probably only his parents and the good offices of a matchmaker. He has no say in it. Who knows? Xian Kongzin didn't have a good impression on any of the people in the royal capital. Somewhat harshly, she said, didn't people say no one could control him? So, he's definitely the one who wanted to discuss his marriage. Zhonwan weakly smiled. Maybe. Royal Princess Angguo's estate. Yushi fiddled with a decorative item. Not bothering to raise his head, he said, there's no need to waste your energy for me. Royal Princess Angguo said patiently, Nai Wen has been a senior official of the Emperor's cabinet for 2 generations. His disciples are all over the realm, yet he only has this one granddaughter. He treats her like treasure. I have met this young lady before. She's pretty with great temperament. Moreover, she's magnanimous. In the future, she could be a princess consort. Indifferently, Yushi said, I don't want her. Why not? Royal Princess Angguo calmed her temper, saying in a coaxing manner, I know that you don't like strangers. As a matter of fact, I'm not forcing you to do anything. Just marry her first and slowly get to know her. After living together for a while, you would know that that young lady has a great temperament. At that time, you two will share a mutual love, and... Yushi set aside the decorative piece. He raised his head and said, shouldn't I be observation a mourning period? Do you actually care about this? Princess Royal Angguo smiled. Aren't only 3 months necessary? Even if the marriage is decided now, we still have to wait half a year before she could marry in. It won't interfere with the mourning period. The corners of Yushi's lips raised a hint. He smiled. Wait a moment. Somehow, Princess Royal Angguo sensed that Yushi's next words would not be kind. Indeed they weren't. Calm in the midst of chaos, Yushi asked in a serious manner, Princess, tell me the truth first. Now that Xianjin is dead, should I be in mourning for 3 months or for 1 year? The smile on Princess Royal Angguo's face became strained. As a member of the imperial clan, mourning for 3 months was enough. But if one were Xianjin's blood-related younger brother, one must mourn for a year. The few servant girls who waited on Princess Royal Angguo all retreated. She tried her best to suppress her anger, forcing herself to say, Are you drunk? What nonsense are you spouting? I'm asking about protocol, said Yushi apathetically. So as to avoid not knowing things and committing a taboo like last time. Yushi lowered his head, a smile spreading across his face. Like wholeheartedly requesting to take 4th princess as a bride, causing the emperor to hurl his paperweight at my forehead. Yushi said in a relaxed manner, what? I've been beaten until I'm afraid and want to be more cautious. Is that not allowed? Royal Princess Angguo was angered to the point where her breathing grew rough and jagged. She rushed to say, back then, you were obviously unhappy that His Highness tried to matchmake for you. And that's why you deliberately told Emperor Brother that you wanted the 4th princess. You almost made Emperor Brother ill from anger. Are you just twisting the words right now? Yushi smiled. But until now, no one has told me the reason why I can't marry 4th princess. His gaze fell upon Royal Princess Angguo, tone frivolous. To speak the truth. Up until now, I still miss that girl. How many times have you seen her? Do you even know what she looks like? Royal Princess Angguo fell into a fit of rage. You just absolutely want me to be unhappy, want Emperor Brother to be unhappy, is that it? Expression natural, Yushi looked at her. She was so furious that her chest hurt. She rubbed at that area to soothe it and no longer spoke. These past few days, Royal Princess Angwo had heard the servants in the side courtyard say that Yushi seemed to have restrained his temperament. For several days, he did not cause trouble, doing what he should daily. He acted according to convention, as if he had returned to his young self. Thinking that he had come to a realization, Princess Royal Angwo had felt delighted. She wanted to settle his marriage while he was still in his tame state. Never had she expected it was going to go like this instead. Royal Princess Angwo's tone was unsteady as she urgently said, "You. Can't you be good?" Yushi lightly knocked at the armrest. Slowly he said, "These past few years, the palace has had consecutive funeral arrangements. Xianjing and Xianqiang's marriage matters have all been delayed up until now. There also hasn't been any movements from their estates." Royal Princess Angwo lifted her head. Yushi seemed as if he were talking to himself. "I'm older than Xianjing by a few months. If I get married before him, and have a son early." Yushi looked at her. "If His Majesty sees that I am healthy and have a son, he would inevitably place more importance on me, right?" Royal Princess Angwo had her thoughts figured out. Her pupils trembled. Still facing Royal Princess Angwo, Yushi continued in a soft voice, "Mother, who do you think is scheming against who? Just give this up." Yushi rose to his feet. "I'll still say this no matter what. If you want me to marry, I will only marry members of the imperial clan. The best case scenario would be a princess. The daughters of other princes are also acceptable. But if she isn't a member of the imperial clan, then forget about it." "Suiyu," Royal Princess Angwo gritted her teeth. "You just absolutely want to stab my heart, to stab Emperor Brother's heart, don't you?" Yushi's feet stilled. He turned around to look at her. "You've got it backwards." After saying this, Yushi was about to leave, when Princess Royal Angwo rushed to stand and blurted, "Emperor Brother. His health is not good." Once again, Yushi stopped in his tracks. "Suiyu," she rushed to his side and helplessly said, "I was worried and felt an urgency on your behalf. Ever since Xianjin had died, Emperor Brother fell ill. He's not doing as well as he had in the past. If something happened, how would you prepare?" Yushi turned to look at her. They stood face to face with her for a moment. Then Yushi said softly, "Princess, you are Xianqiang's aunt, Prince Yu's main consort. You only need to not commit any large crimes, and you'll have a lifetime of wealth and rank no matter what." Soft laughter from Yushi's lips. "Be content with your lot. Or do you insist on being the Empress Dao?" Royal Princess Angwo slapped Yushi. Afterward, fear rushed into her heart. She hurried to say, "Suiyu." Royal Princess Angwo wanted to pull Yushi closer to see his face, but he turned away from her. It wasn't the first time she had slapped him. This time Yushi wasn't startled or afraid. Expressionlessly, he raised a hand to wipe away the blood on the corner of his lips with a thumb. A glance, and he wiped his thumb with a handkerchief in passing. Yushi licked the corner of his lip. Smiled as he finished what he was saying before. "Or do you insist on being the Empress Dowager?" Ashamed and regretful, Royal Princess Angwo said, "Just now, you had angered me too much. Let me see." "No need." Yushi retreated half a step. "Princess has already hit me. I will return to my residence to reflect on my errors." "Suiyu. I'm not doing this for myself. No matter what, you are currently my closest blood relative. How could I not help you? You. Are you not afraid that in the future, when Xianqiang ascends the throne, he won't let you live? At that time, it won't only be you. How could the people around you not be implicated? When that time comes, even if I can preserve the princess estate, I could only live by the whims of others." Yushi's pupils trembled. The people around him. He gritted his teeth. Why couldn't he just stay in Jianan properly? Royal Princess Angwo noticed that cracks had seemed to appear on his firm exterior. She rushed to say, "Sui Yu, are you truly heartless now? Do you not care about anything anymore?" Originally, the answer was yes. Yushi's ears rang, he could feel a headache appearing. He drew his brows tightly together. "We'll talk about this later." Staggering 2 steps, he left the warm room. On the road back to the side courtyard of Prince Yu's estate, his headache grew worse. Xianjin's death broke the balance in the capital. The fight for the throne had already started. At the start, Yushi could relax as he muddied the water and watched as others fought. And then in the end, die in the hands of those blockheads without a care in the world. Death ended all of one's troubles. However, an illusion started to appear before Yushi's eyes. The corner of his mouth still hurt. It were as if he had suddenly returned to 6 years prior. When he was in the princess estate. When he was slapped back then. In an instant, that slap woke him up from his youthful ignorance and muddle-headedness. Originally, Yushi would have committed suicide at that time. However, once he thought that Zhonwan was far away, he actually forced himself to keep living out of anger. At present, Yushi could just sit back and not care about anything. But Zhonwan just had to stay at that whatever Prince Jianan estate currently. In a towering rage, he could not help but direct all his hatred at Zhonwan. It was him. It was all that person's fault. He's also making use of me. He really is also making use of me, Yushi mumbled to himself, killing intent flashing in his eyes. The ears of the family soldiers escorting his carriage were very sensitive. They heard the movements in the carriage, and one rode his horse to the side of the carriage. Bowing, he asked, "Does heir have any orders?" Inside, Yushi sat with his eyes bleeding red. In a raspy voice, he said, "Help me, deal with the person." After the family soldier had heard the name, his heart chilled. He couldn't refrain from asking again, "Is Yushizi certain?" Silence fell upon the interior of the carriage for a moment. "Yes." The family soldier bowed. He listened carefully to Yushi's orders. He asked, "Tonight?" Yushi's voice was ice cold. "Right now." The gaze of the family soldier proved complicated. But he did not dare to disobey. A whip of his horse, and he left. In Prince Jianan's estate, Zhonwan had not eaten much in a day. Lying in bed was also not comfortable. He kept tossing and turning. Zhonwan said to himself, "He doesn't owe me." He turned in bed again. Zhonwan did not think of much. He and Yushi weren't anything. If Yushi truly took a bride, then Zhonwan would still remain here. However, he would no longer cross that line anymore. Zhonwan said in near whisper, "If I had known this earlier, I would have kissed him more." A rustle by his window. Zhonwan laughed in spite of himself. "You're sharing this courtyard with me, yet you still hop through the window to enter my room." Zhonwan raised his hand and lifted the bed curtains. In a daze, he asked, "What is it?" It was dark in the room with no candles lit. Zhonwan sat up. Borrowed an ember from his handheld brazier to light a candle. The moment he turned around, his heart thumped. A man with his face covered stood in the middle of the room with a blade. Slowly, Zhonwan set down the candlestick. He tried his best to calm down. "Gallant swordsman." The family soldier pulled down his cloth mask and said in a cold voice, "I've come under young Prince Yu's orders and have offended you." Then he took one step forward. He yanked Zhonwan's left arm. He lowered his head and glanced at Zhonwan, making sure he had grabbed the unbandaged arm. He pulled out the dagger by his waist but did not unsheath it. He held the scabbard by the blade's side, smacking it lightly onto Zhonwan's palm. Zhonwan was speechless. The family soldier pulled back the dagger with its scabbard. He cupped one hand in another as a sign of respect. "I also do not know what young Master Zhong did wrong. However, our Yushizi is furious. He had me come, to discipline young Master Zhong. Zhonwan lowered his head and gazed at the white of his palm. At a loss, he said, "Mm." The family soldier bowed. I would also have to ask young Master Zhong to also reflect for a few days and not to repeat it again. I will take my leave. End chapter. Those years in quest of honor mine. Chapter 42. At midnight. Yushi sat on the couch with his hair undone. On the ground beside him, a man knelt, incessantly trembling. Yushi didn't ask questions, didn't interrogate him. He zoned out by himself. Steward Feng walked in with some medicinal cream. He looked over and felt that this person appeared a bit familiar. He vaguely recalled seeing him at Royal Princess Angwo's estate before. Steward Feng put the cream on a small table. He didn't really dare to speak. The number of people in this world who were brave enough to hit Yushi could be counted on one hand. Yushi had returned from the princess estate. Who had caused the wound on his face was obvious. There was still blood trickling from the corner of Yushi's mouth. Steward Feng couldn't take it anymore. He softly asked, "Yushizi, does it hurt? You're still bleeding. This old servant will help you apply some medicine." Yushi didn't speak. Upon seeing that he hadn't disagreed, Steward Feng grabbed the cream and attempted to apply it on him. Yushi turned his face away to avoid the other. He finally spoke, "You may leave. I have questions to ask." Steward Feng looked down at the person kneeling on the ground and left with a sigh. Thus, Yushi continued daydreaming. After an unknown amount of time, when the person kneeling on the ground almost passed out from fear, Yushi finally remembered him. Yushi suddenly asked, "How is the Emperor's health?" This person was Royal Princess Angwo's trusted subordinate. Normally, he kept himself well hidden. He hadn't expected for Yushi to somehow notice him. He had a clear understanding of Royal Princess Angwo's stance, so gathered his wits and spoke in a quivering voice, "Honestly not too great. Only, nobody dares to ask. Investigating into the Emperor's health counted as treason. Everyone knew to avoid implication." Yushi narrowed his eyes. "So how does the princess know? Princess Royal often visits the Emperor to pay her respects. Perhaps she noticed something herself?" Additionally, the trusted subordinate lowered his voice, saying, "Royal Princess has her own people in the Imperial Academy of Medicine. Royal Princess does everything for Yushizi. Even though she's towing the line for breaking taboo, she's still determined to." Yushi calmly stated, "With each useless sentence you speak, I'll cut off one of your fingers." The trusted subordinate was speechless. He switched the topic and said, "Royal Princess doesn't mean anything else by looking into the situation. She's only worried that the Emperor will be like the previous Emperor. T2, too unwilling to consider the fact that nothing is permanent." The trusted subordinate didn't dare to say too much about Emperor Chang'an. He could only use the previous emperor as an example. Back then, didn't the previous emperor firmly believe that he would live for a long time, so didn't designate a crown prince early on? That's why there were so many issues. Royal Princess doesn't want another time of chaos such as that one, so wants us to resolve what needs to be resolved while our emperor is still alert and well." Yushi lost his patience. She's suddenly become so anxious only because the emperor is unwell. And the trusted subordinate's forehead was covered in cold sweat. He hurriedly added, "The truth is, Royal Princess originally didn't want to get involved. However, Imperial Consort Yu has become increasingly more aggressive. Yushizi knows that Royal Princess and Imperial Consort Yu haven't gotten along for a long time. In the future, if Fifth Prince ascends the throne, it would still sound good because Fifth Prince is related to Princess in two ways. However, who can't clearly tell how things are in private? Imperial Consort Yu is petty. If she became the Empress Dowager, how generous would she be to Royal Princess? These days, Our prince has been in contact with fifth prince a bit too much. Royal princess is anxious. Though prince and princess have been in love for several decades, between couples, it's either the east wind that prevails over the west wind or the west wind that prevails over the east wind. Besides, there are still two illegitimate sons stuck between them. Currently, that doesn't matter, but what about later on? Later on, if our prince becomes the powerful royal uncle, royal princess will fall out of favor. Would Prince Yu still treat princess so respectfully? The trusted subordinate glanced at Yushi. He forced himself to say, by then, royal princess most likely won't be able to help you keep your position as the heir. Yushi scoffed and said, wonderful, the chess piece that is me is so useful, as expected. Yushi lifted his gaze and asked curiously, why aren't you people worried that I wouldn't care about these things at all? So what if I lose the position of heir? Anyone can tell me how to live my life as they wish. The trusted subordinate was soaked in cold sweat. Who said they weren't worried? For many years, Yushi would occasionally attempt suicide. Royal Princess Angwo had originally already given up on this plan, not daring to rest too much hope on him. She had planned to leave things to fate. Either way, no matter who ascended the throne, she would still be the new emperor's blood-related aunt. However, as chance would have it, Yushi had suddenly started seeming more alive recently. The position of Empress Dowager was right at her fingertips. How could Royal Princess Angwo not be tempted? The trusted subordinate softly said, Royal Princess thinks that Yushizi has probably gained the intention to fight for the throne. If Yushizi intends to, Royal Princess will naturally do her best to help. Yushi calmly asked, how does she want to help? But the trusted subordinate became timid. After a moment of hesitation, he said, Princess WW wants. The trusted subordinate paused for a long time, yet ultimately didn't dare to say anything. Yushi spoke for him, wants the emperor to admit me as his son while he's still in good health. The trusted subordinate instantly said, that would be best. Yushi leaned forward slightly. He stared straight into the trusted subordinate's eyes and softly said, so has Royal Princess thought about how disgusted I would be, calling him father? The trusted subordinate froze. He looked up and was met with Yushi's dark eyes. In fear, he kowtowed incessantly. Yushi's heart had long since frozen over completely. All that had happened today was like it had been stabbed 2 more times. Yushi didn't feel anything. He numbly said, you may leave. The trusted subordinate fell into a daze. He had thought that even if he didn't end up dead, he would at least have to lose a layer of skin. Yushi was letting him go so easily. Tell the princess. Yushi stood up. Don't try to prove how clever you are, don't do things of your own accord. The trusted subordinate paused. Did this mean that Yushi had agreed or not? The trusted subordinate probed, then about your marriage. Yushi lowered his gaze and said, each time it gets bring it up, I'll go ask the emperor to marry 4th princess. The trusted subordinate immediately said, this slave dares not. Just now, it was the slave who overstepped my bounds. Yushi closed his eyes and did his best to seal away all the fond childhood memories he have regarding Royal Princess Angwo. This way, he wouldn't go crazy again. I know exactly what your intentions are. Do you only want me to get married? Do you only want me to have offspring? Yushi turned around to look at the trusted subordinate. He smiled. Princess wants to find someone who can officially, constantly, watch over me. She wants to keep an eye on me and turn me into a puppet, right? The trusted subordinate was shocked. He hadn't expected that Yushi would have already guessed so far ahead. But still, he lowered his head and refused to admit anything. Royal Princess only wants to find a partner for Yushizi. Yushizi isn't young anymore. Normally, your estate is completely empty. Wouldn't that make Yushizi mood even more gloomy? If there was someone to accompany and understand you, that would be for the best. Even if they couldn't become Yushi's confidant, there still might be the possibility of a child. As such, Princess would rest at ease, Yushi said to himself. If I liked her, that would be even more exciting. Princess would be able to control me much more easily. Yushi looked down at the trusted subordinate. He softly muttered, better give up on this early on. We will first disregard whether or not I would ever marry a bride or take a concubine. Even if I did. Yushi used the tip of his boot to gently tap the trusted subordinate's head. Even if I did, even if I truly liked them, I wouldn't allow them to lead me around by the nose. For me, there isn't anyone I'm reluctant to part with or separate from, understand? The trusted subordinate trembled uncontrollably, then nodded. An unknown thought struck Yushi's mind. He lowly murmured, no matter how much I like them. I wouldn't care about them. I'll hit them if I want. If I'm unhappy, I would even wake them up in the middle of the night and tell someone to beat them to death. If they really died, I wouldn't care either. The trusted subordinate was shocked. He barely managed to agree. Yushi regained his wits. He seemed to have just realized that there was still someone under his feet. He angrily said, if you understand, then leave. The trusted subordinate felt that Yushi was already mostly convinced and that he would be able to report back to the Princess Royal. He hurriedly left. Yushi was incredibly tired. At first, he planned to sleep, but ultimately couldn't relax. A long time later, he summoned the family soldier waiting outside the warm room. The family soldier knelt and gave a detailed account of what had happened in Prince Jian'an's estate. Yushi listened quietly, then nodded. You've completed your assignment well. I have one more task for you to do. The family soldier didn't actually want to, but only dared to be secretly angry. He didn't dare to tell Yushi this. He lowered his head and said, as Yushi's command. Exaggerate, what happened today? Then, let the information out. Yushi testily said, so I will finally be able to get some peace and quiet. The family soldier awkwardly stated, Yushi's, this subordinate is useless. I don't know how to do that. If you don't know, go ask someone else. There are so many people on this estate. Doesn't a single one of them know how to make up rumors? Yushi rubbed the spot between his eyebrows. My heart hurts, don't annoy me. The family soldier reluctantly nodded. Yes. The family soldier watched Yushi walk into his bedroom. He clenched his fist, ground his teeth, and left. 2 days later at Prince Jian'an's estate. Xian Kengxin chatted with Zhonwan while reading a book. Young Prince Yu's engagement talk has fallen through. Xian Kengxin flipped a page of her book and lamented, the people in the capital are truly. Zhonwan did his best to appear unbothered. How did it fall through? Xian Kengxin glanced at Xian Yu who was practicing calligraphy close by. She set down the book in her hand and quietly said, follow me. Zhonwan's expression was serious. He inhaled deeply, then got up and put on his fox fur cloak. He walked out of the study with Xian Kengxin and gently closed the door behind him. The two of them walked into the courtyard. Xian Kengxin softly said, I heard this at the third prince's estate. This story is a bit uncouth. I don't want Xian Yu to find out. Zhonwan was speechless. Uncouth, how? It couldn't be that something had happened to Yushi? Words has it that the young Prince Yu, Xian Kengxin lowered her voice, has a wicked fetish. Zhonwan was shocked. What wicked fetish? Did Yushi have an illness that he had kept from him? Xian Kengxin hesitated again. She carefully contemplated her word choice before quickly saying, young Prince Yu likes to beat his bed partners. Zhonwan was completely stunned. How come I didn't know? Xian Kengxin looked at Zhonwan strangely. Why would you know? Zhonwan had no response. Xian Kengxin stated, confused, why would I make up this kind of stuff? Others said it, I just happened to hear it. One really can't marry young Prince Yu. Not only does he have a bad temper, he even hits his bed partners. Not just the capital, even in Archeanan, such a man wouldn't be able to get a wife. So, there most likely won't be anyone who dares to have marriage talks with him now. A fine young woman would be married off, but in a few days, might get beaten to death by him. Zhonwan was speechless. He said with much difficulty, "No, wait. Who said all that? How could they make up such rumors?" I don't recall clearly which madam or lady specifically said each line. Xian Kangzin diligently tried to remember. Oh, they said that young Prince Yu beat his bed partner into a bloody mess after a disagreement. That person didn't even look like a person anymore. Zhonwan was horrified. Didn't even look like a person anymore. I suspect that someone exaggerated things too, because at first, they also said that young Prince Yu didn't like his bed partner, so picked up a dagger and stabbed them. Zhonwan was so shocked that he couldn't speak. Before that, they said young Prince Yu had a bad temper and didn't like his bed partner, so he made a family soldier on his estate stab his bed partner. And the time before that, they said that young Prince Yu got angry easily. His bed partner made him angry. Even though it was already the middle of the night, he still felt furious upon thinking of that incident. Unable to bear it anymore, he instantly ordered 10 armored family soldiers over to yank that person out of bed and hit their palms. Xian Kangzin shivered. She softly said, "Even the least serious one is terribly frightening. Think about it, at the slightest disagreement, he sends 10 family soldiers over to hit you. 10 sturdily built men. Wouldn't your hands be bloody messes by the end of that?" Zhonwan lowered his head and looked at his left palm. He went silent for a long while. End chapter.